nothing.
Cade me to Fulcha, everyone. Welcome back to EU Masters 2021 Spring Group Stage. It is day 2. I am Penguin. I'm joined again by the illustrious Daga. And, or Dagda, I don't know why I called you Daga. I was going to call you Dagatron, I think, because we're coming into a day 2 now of EU Masters. A couple of, highs and lows for different teams as we start off our second day.
Yeah, and I mean, look, especially for the likes of the DOC region and also the LFL, they're going to be pretty happy with how yesterday turned out. Both their teams sitting pretty at 1 win apiece, but there was a lot of hard-fought battles, especially when you look over towards the Ultra Liga. Their number 1 seed, AGO Rogue, pushed to their limits in their game.
Yeah, really pushed to the very limit of kind of winning or losing. They were able to come out with a little bit of a win. So we'll see, just a couple of different highlights here. And this one was also a kind of a relatively close one as well between Mouse and Machka, as we see kind of, the AGO Rogue just about getting their jungler out of that particular skirmish. And again and again, we're seeing kind of, the expectations of, AGO Rogue. They obviously had a massive success last year. They won the EU Masters, and they're kind of coming into this one not starting super hot, but it's how you finish, not how you start when it comes to EU Masters.
Yeah, but I do love that we're getting some of these kind of more niche picks, right? We've seen Sebex bring out the Annie. We're starting to see a little bit of the identity and the spirit of these regions brought out into the games from yesterday, and hopefully continuing forward in through EU Masters as well. Like, this is one of my favorite parts of the tournament, is getting to see all these regional differences and how each one faces up against each other.
Yeah, well, speaking of facing up against each other, we have the schedule for today. It is going to be Karmine Corp versus BTXL, bringing us to start off the day. And as you see, anything there that strikes you as your big highlight match here today, Dagda?
Honestly, I'm just looking forward to seeing Group A. I mean, both Kick and Big coming into this, it really feels like we're going to get a taste of what these guys are made of, especially when we look towards some of the teams we had high expectations for not really performing. We'll need to keep our eyes on Kick and Big to see if they can live up to the standard that people are expecting of them.
Yeah, and the War of the Roses is going to be our first match, and we're going to talk about a particular man on Karmine Corp. It's going to be Saken in that mid lane. The man just did a pretty good start to yesterday, but these are his stats from the LFL regular split, and you can see just how kind of, set up this team is to play with him.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here, is that Saken has had a massive performance for K-Corp in that mid lane, but it's due to the fact how well the team plays around him. We end up seeing both the support and jungle playing regularly towards that mid lane, linking up to make sure that Saken can play super safe. And I think what we saw yesterday, BTXL really struggle against this roaming play coming through from Nuclear Int. Saken, another Rise aficionado, may just be the key to dismantling BTXL once again. So this is my key matchup that I'm going to be looking at, to see if BTXL can keep this guy in check.
Yeah, and honestly, even coming from yesterday, K-Corp, they looked clean. They looked very good in their first matchup. They hit the ground running. They got exactly what we thought they would do, going for them. And even from the likes of Adam playing towards that top side, just absorbing the pressure, making sure that he was set up for success and the rest of his team could make moves elsewhere. It really did set them up for success.
Yeah, I think that's the big one here, is that you had standout performances across the team. Like, this team individually has amazing performers. Both Adam in that top lane, we've already hit on Saken, Targamas and Cinkrof looking really good paired as a duo. And even though xMatty, we didn't get to see these highlight moments from him, we know he's capable of it. So I think when I look across at BTXL, the big thing that they need to do here is try and keep Saken under control. I'd love to see something like a Twisted Fate and a Nidalee combo for Markoon and for Hatrixx in that mid lane, take over that mid lane, and then bring that pressure elsewhere. Bring it up towards Orome in the top lane, or start to look towards this bottom lane. Deadly has been, well, deadly in these team fights. So if you can shut down xMatty and Targamas there, you then can rely on the superior team fighting that BTXL has been known for in the NLC.
Well, we'll see what they're able to kind of prioritize here. You can see K-Corp on the left, so they're going to be on the blue side. With BTXL on the right, they will be taking the red. And already we're starting to see some of those kind of, big power picks being taken away. The Rel, the Nocturne, the Seraphine, and the Hecarim all being banned away here from both sides.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if the Rise respect is going to be given towards Saken. This dude has a mean rise. 49 KDA over the 4 games that he has played of it in the LFL. So definitely think you need to give this a little bit of respect, and definitely a pocket pick that K-Corp will be happy to get their hands on. As we said yesterday, like Nuclear Int took that pick and ran amok on BTXL yesterday by going top lane, exploiting Orome on this blind Gnar pick, and I'm very worried that if you don't give that respect, you could see this come through for K-Corp.
Yeah, it's something that they can definitely lean towards as we kind of look closer and closer to how you want to kind of set up your draft. It is going to be the Tristana lock here for K-Corp. They have got themselves, of course, the flex. And now for BTXL, where do you want to try and take this draft? You know that Tristana has the late game insurance. You've got yourself an opportunity now to maybe take something into the jungle, maybe take a support as well.
Yeah, I think you take the likes of the Udyr and probably the Alistar here as well. Just set yourself up for that nice bot lane. I think on the opposite side for K-Corp, oh, actually, of course, Thresh left open, kind of the premier support that we often see banned away, so looks like they will go towards that. But I think for K-Corp here, you're looking towards something like the Lillia, and I'd love to see something like the Sion actually in that top lane, but this draft is going quick and furious as they actually will be taking that Renekton for Adam in that top lane. So still looking towards very much a kind of a dive, team fight focused composition for K-Corp right now, with I think a curious option to go for the Renekton this early, because I think realistically taking some kind of support here could have worked out very well for Targamas in that bottom lane. I mean, you're already looking at like the likes of Rel banned away. I'm assuming Alistar and Leona will also go in this next pick, and it makes things a lot easier for BTXL, who right now are kind of playing a little bit of Protect the Jinx. When you've got Deadly on this Jinx pick, you've got the Thresh, you can play to just protect her, and unless you can double down on the dive here for K-Corp, you will struggle a little bit.
And we've got a little bit of time while the rest of the bans are coming in for the second round, but BTXL have a lot of weight on their shoulders. We were talking just a little bit just before we went live, and you look at the UK League, or the NLC as it is now, it's kind of been a steady decline from top 4 pretty consistently. All right, cool, we'll get top 8. All right, cool, we'll get into groups with our top 2 teams. All right, we're not even going to get our play-ins teams in anymore. And then now, you know, from last split, you know, Fnatic Rising not even making it into summer 2020, knockout stages. Like, they have, and there's a big name behind them like Fnatic, like, XL. That is the kind of thing that, is just not good enough for a size, if you like, of these organizations. And it really is on them now after losing to Schalke Evolution yesterday. They really need to try and step up today and try and, punch back twice as hard.
Yeah, well, at least this time around they won't be exploited as much in the draft. I actually think Orome can go for this blind pick Gnar. Well, not blind pick now, Gnar in the top lane, but certainly take it here and do relatively well against the Renekton, but actually going to opt into the losing matchup. So honestly, for me, this just says to be, from BTXL's point of view, it's like, we're hard pushing bot, right? We're just going to leave Orome on an island. He'll do his thing on the Ornn. Yes, he'll fall a little bit behind, might lose a little bit of turret plating, but he'll be grand in the grand scheme of things. Instead, we need to play towards this bot side and make sure that Deadly is having a good time. And what we talked about already was, hey, look, we want to see BTXL playing towards this bottom lane, but it starts with getting a good pick for Hatrixx in this mid lane, and having that counter pick on red side gives him a lot of flexibility here in the draft.
Good bit of flexibility. We'll see where they want to try and go for this last pick here. Looks like the Tristana will be going in towards that solo lane. So again, if kind of you're familiar with the kind of, solo lane prowess of Tristana, it's not really that much of a surprise with the Lillia and the Renekton in the solo lanes. This is a very, very strong top side of the map, and they're going to go with super safety and a little bit of engage here in the bot lane.
So you can actually play really flexible with this Tristana pick, because you could even send that Tristana up towards top lane towards Adam. Now, Adam hasn't traditionally played a lot of these more like AD carry styles in the top lane. He's been more bruiser focused, but if you really wanted to, you could like double down on pressure in this top lane, use this Tristana to wreck through turrets against this Ornn. But I do imagine it'll be going towards Saken in that mid lane, and that at least now gives a very strong lane that K-Corp can look to play around. We talked about them pushing and trying to move that pressure elsewhere on the map. Well, for Saken now, you've got this Tristana that can do a heap of work, link up with Cinkrof at 6. You've got a great engage tool in Targamas in that bottom lane. It feels like you've got good answers to where BTXL are trying to put their money, which again is that bottom side of the map, especially now with Hatrixx going towards the Viktor. You've got 2 very safe solo laners, and you are going to be having Markoon trying to play around this bottom side and making sure you can scale into that late game here as BTXL.
Yeah, scaling is definitely the name of the game here for BTXL, but when looking at Corp, they have a lot of opportunities here to try and maybe even find picks, to look to try and get, good kind of flank engages. You get the Alistar and the Renekton to kind of set themselves up to get behind someone. If that Jinx isn't positioned perfectly, that could spell disaster for BTXL, so I'm really going to be looking at the positioning of the Jinx and the Thresh, just in case they need to try and get out, because right now, if you get caught, you're dead. There's just so much damage that can come out instantly.
That leads into what BTXL has been strong at, though. They've been incredible when it comes towards those late game team fights, the positioning from Hatrixx and from Deadly. My bigger worry is actually been their laning phase. I think Hatrixx has been struggling a little bit when he is put under a lot of pressure. And a pick like Tristana, and in the hands of the guy we highlighted, Saken as well, I think you're going to need Markoon to at least have some really good control over this lane. It's not like you'll be able to keep control of this lane as Hatrixx as easily, because you burn through your mana trying to keep up the push power that this Tristana has, and that's where Saken becomes very, very deadly and can start to tear through this mid lane structure incredibly fast.
Now, Deadly's on BTXL, man. You got your teams mixed up. It's it's just it's alright. It happens. It happens. Yes. Yeah. obviously. Coming into this game as well, Karmine Corp, they're feeling good. They had a pretty good start to the split or to the tournament yesterday against Real Betis. They are going to look to continue that start. And again, we mentioned it yesterday, and I think we can reiterate it today. These guys are slowly but surely starting to become the tournament favorite for us. These guys are really starting to be, to ramp up and to really, I'm starting to begin, to believe in the hype, if you will, from the LFL fans, because they look so good yesterday, and it's going to be on to BTXL to kind of stop that momentum. So just looking at the early game, where do you want to see BTXL maybe make a move, or maybe make, put their mark down in the start of this game?
So this is actually where I want to see that improvement from yesterday against Schalke Evolution into today. Because I feel like for BTXL, a large portion of this game is going to be making sure they keep track of vision in the river, and they're not letting Corp just run away with this mid-game team. If you can actually stop the plays coming through from Cinkrof, keep Hatrixx safe in this mid lane, I think you're going to have a much more successful time, and eventually you can start to use the push power that Deadly has in this bottom lane over xMatty and Targamas to look towards these dragons off that first reset. And that's why, honestly, we can see Markoon is already pathing from this top side of the map into the bottom side. He knows that, look, I want to play around Deadly and Advienne having the advantage here, but also off my initial reset, about the 4.5 minute mark, I can run towards these initial dragons and start to set these up. And it denies Corp the opportunity to force BTXL into these mid-game fights where Corp is really strong off of, that 1 to 2 item spike.
We talked about it a little bit in Champ Select, but someone who absolutely ran rampant yesterday was Cinkrof in that jungle. And look at a couple of his stats that kind of came up. He ended up with like a 1,337. He was elite in terms of his XP difference at 15 minutes. He had a 13 KDA. The guy was just setting himself up so well. As we can see the bot lane just going for a little bit of skirmish. But I feel like right now, if you're looking at Corp, you need to try and shut this man down.
Yeah, and I think it's just it speaks volumes to the understanding Cinkrof has as a jungle right now. His pathing was crazy efficient. He was able to keep his lane safe while also just out farming his opponent incredibly well. And again, we talk about this a lot when we talk about Corp, is the linking up between Cinkrof and Targamas. They do such a good job working in tandem to play towards Saken, keep him safe, but also make sure that they're getting those nice ganks off in mid lane. So I am going to be keeping my eyes on Cinkrof here. Now, he is on the Lillia. Going to be a little bit of a slower paced early game on the Deer. You're not going to get crazy fast plays, but certainly he will have a major impact as we start to crest past the level 6 point.
And it is that level 6, so you have to be so careful of if Targamas is able to get that good engage onto multiple members with the flash headbutt pulverize, or hell, even just a headbutt pulverize. He will set up a massive, sleepy time here for BTXL. But BTXL have ways of dealing with it, like you mentioned before, the Thresh to keep everyone off. You've got good zone control with the Viktor, and I'm looking at Markoon and, Orome to really just kind of keep themselves safe, get themselves to become that kind of, front to back team fight that they want to be towards that, mid to late game fight situation.
Yeah, I mean, the front to back is insane. The amount of zone control that's offered between Hatrixx, Deadly as well, having the chompers to toss onto the ground. That's not even including Advienne, who's just kind of playing goalkeeper, blocking everyone from getting towards the back line for Hatrixx and Deadly. Like, this is insane if BTXL can find that. But the big worry for me here is, like, how volatile the matchup can be for Corp, because you've got like Renekton flanking, Cinkrof can come off from different angles. You've also got Saken and xMatty, who are very, very mobile in their own respect as well. So it can be a little bit tough, but we can already see, look, here was this play we were talking about, right? Where at the 5-minute mark, you've got Markoon on the bot side. They're looking for the play to see if they can go towards Dragon, but not quite able to get onto xMatty there.
Yeah, it was a nice little arcane shift to get him away. The dragon has been started here by Markoon, but not really something you want to be going for just yet. You know you don't really have the push as of the moment, so they're actually opting to just try and freeze this one, make it as difficult as possible for Targamas and xMatty to try and get that CS going for themselves. And you have to respect the hook. You have to respect the constant CC when you get the hook, the chompers, the flay. Like, that is, you know, it might not be a very, you know, reliable form of engage, but once it lands hard.
I like the way BTXL are playing this though. Deadly was like, hang on a second, I actually have a nice freeze in this bottom lane, I can turn this into a slow push, and then we can go towards Dragon. We don't need to rush this. The longer the Dragon is off the cards, the better it is for BTXL, but we talked about these roams, and it's on towards Orome again.
Yeah, the dominance has been hit by Adam, and he's going to be able to set his team up perfectly for success. First blood for Cinkrof. We highlighted this man, talked about his impact, and straight away, exactly as that has happened.
And it's the exact same play as yesterday. Corp, hey, look, we can roam top, full vision control. We know that BTXL are committed to that bottom side, so having Saken with that push in mid, they just roam him top and they get the kill onto Orome. Now Adam is going to get a whole heap of plates in this top lane as well. In this matchup as the Renekton, you take the Demolish on your secondary tree as well with Resolve, so he's tearing through these structures so damn fast.
And there's not really a huge amount here that Orome can do. Adam is just bullying him, and you can see they're only hitting level 6 now, so has got the Ornn Horde available to him, as we might see a little bit of a fight around the Raptors. Cinkrof goes back, takes his prize, and says, hey, I committed my sleepy time for that, so you're going to have to try and you know, pay me back for the extra little bit of cooldown. And again, this is the kind of power you get. You mentioned the push power you get with something like a Tristana, and Saken just being able to push in that wave, jump in a little bit quicker, means they're able to secure his jungler, get the camp, get out.
Yeah, and now the big question is, like, how do you try and capitalize this on Corp, right? Because I'm looking at that Rift Herald that's supposed to be spawning in about 45 seconds. You'd already have Saken, right, guaranteed mid lane prio. Fantastic for Corp. But what you gotta look and see is, right, how do we try and include Adam? Like, are we just leaving Targamas to abandon xMatty on this bottom side as the Ezreal, which I think you're perfectly fine to do here, and go for this 4v4 or 3v4 on the top side, because you know, honestly, that Advienne, he's gotta stay bot side with Deadly. Like, Advienne can't be the first one to roam, because it makes it so that way.
See what he's able to do. Because they've got pretty much a nice little bit of a slow push going here in towards BTXL, so they might be able to get something going for them, maybe an overstretch or anything like that. But right now you can see on the mini-map, Markoon is walking towards that top side. He is very much aware that that Rift Herald has spawned and his top lane might be in a little bit of trouble should they get the roam off. And exactly what you talked about, you know, you can see already on the mini-map Saken moving in, making sure he has full kind of, you know, control of where he's going before they go for anything crazy. Adam does pop down a ward, does find himself a man-bear pig, but with that massive wave for Orome, he can't really go for anything else.
Targamas though might be in trouble here.
It's going to cost the 2 ultimates here on the bot side from Corp. They're still putting down decent damage on top of Targamas. Excuse me, Targamas still level 4, so he hasn't quite got his ultimate. And just going to back themselves away. A bit of good harass here from Deadly and his support partner, and again, this is something that you wanted to see. You want to see them maybe looking to try and see if Deadly, like, Deadly is kind of your consistent DPS. He is your carry when it comes to those late game team fights. If he can garner a more, you know, bigger advantage here, he's already got himself 15 CS. That is a big plus here for BTXL.
Yeah, and honestly, I think I want to see BTXL like doubling down on this. Corp already said, look, they should have full advantage up towards this Rift Herald, as BTXL, you should be trying to hard force this bot side now when you know that Targamas is on this top side. But unfortunately for them, Deadly and Advienne actually took a recall here, so they aren't able to try and pressure on towards these turret plates, and you can just keep xMatty bot side. He's just got to reset off for himself, so they'll be able to pick up this wave, and it's just K-Corp able to play off that mid and top priority that we already talked about and secure that Rift Herald. Now you've got a top lane that's only got 3 turret plates, mid lane only has 3 as well. Like, they have options as to where they want to use this Rift Herald.
They've got ways to do it. The Ornn going to be used in top side. Adam does get himself away with a slice and dice, and that's just going to be used to clear the wave. No TP here for Orome, but there is a TP for Adam, so if there is a fight down this bot side, as you can see, the jungle and mid of K-Corp roaming down, just seeing if anything was going to happen. And they all back away. It's, again, another slow early game, but a slow early game does equal 8,000 gold lead for K-Corp. BTXL really do have the dragon, but that's the only kind of, you know, caveat we have for them now. But they are trying to see if they can get some more stuff going for them in the spot side.
I mean, you kind of got to try and look for it somewhere. Advienne not quite able to hit that hook, and I think now, as you said, with the dragon coming up in a minute, I honestly don't really see BTXL fighting for this. The Cloud Dragon, not an issue for them. They can just let that one go. It was more about delaying the time that the soul is on the map, but Markoon, going aggressive boss.
Yeah, actually threaded the needle there, getting the swirl seed right on top of Deadly, so had to be a little bit careful there for BTXL. All summoners were available for Deadly, so shouldn't have been in too much danger. As we can see, nice knock up from Orome. Just get a nice little trade off in this top side as he's building full tank versus Adam going full bruiser, of course, with the Iron Spike Rip and the Heartstone Axe. So again, nothing really untoward from either side, just kind of bringing it up, you know, stacking up their waves, making sure they're getting as much gold as possible. You've got the coal stacking here for Saken. Advienne not quite in a position to be able to get something going, as I say that. Does bait out the hook, lands it, gets the flay. They're going to try and put down the box, but the immediate TP here is response enough for the side of K-Corp, and it all gets turned around straight away. Adam, straight on the pulse, comes back in, gets himself a kill, and that could mean Dragon.
Yeah, Advienne overcommits. You don't have the TP on Orome yet. Hatrixx isn't in a position to move down because he's in danger of losing his mid lane turret, and might still do so with this Rift Herald.
Yeah, they might be able to take pretty much everything. You know, the mid lane, the dragon. All they're losing is a couple of turret plates to the Ornn, and now they're going to see the CP Sleepy Time going down on top of the Viktor, but they have to be careful. TP going to be brought in here by Orome. See if they can go for anything else. Not quite able to catch. Yes, he is. Saken is dead. And that is going to be enough for the side of BTXL, but can they find any more? The hook will be up in a couple of seconds. No, they're going to have to try and back themselves away. Don't quite hit onto that one. But they do trade off, as the K-Corp did spend a little bit too much time pushing for that second turret.
Honestly, though, I'm pretty happy with that as K-Corp. Yes, it sucks that Saken died, but I think now that you've... Oh, hang on, Targamas?
Oh, Targamas finds someone. Adam is a little bit far behind, but he gets the knockback. Orome has to charge away. Will he be able to find himself out of this? I don't know. He has got a blast cone. He's got a flash. He's got himself an escape. Nicely done there by the BTXL top laner. They also get themselves a dragon, so they're now on to 2. And then it's a nice little escape there from the side of BTXL. They don't lose any more gold, and they gain themselves an objective.
So I think the big thing now after this fight, like you can see here, they get the tower, they tried to commit that little bit too far as Hatrixx. He ends up going Sleepy Time, but they're just not respecting how fast BTXL can commit here. Really good job here from Advienne as well to catch out Saken off this play, gets that play off and manages to pick them off. But I think the big thing now looking towards, you know, after this fight is what happens with Saken. Because I feel like putting him back mid lane is kind of just wasting how fed this Tristana is. You've just got the Kraken Slayer completed. See if you can actually move xMatty towards that mid lane, keep side lane, and play towards this Tristana and allow her to start taking towers. Whether it is, you know, on this bottom side or even just abusing the fact that that top lane turret is so low and there's no dragon on the map for the next 4 minutes.
You have time. A 2,000 gold lead here for K-Corp. They are looking to maybe bait something here in this bot side. Deadly a little bit out of position, has flash, and Targamas doesn't want to fully commit to it just yet. Swirl Speed just whizzes on by. Now they know that there's pretty much going to be a 3v3 in this bottom side. They're still looking for it right now. They're still angling for it. I don't know if they know that Markoon is here.
It looks like they're just going to back away. And honestly, I kind of like this play from BTXL. It's more about like shadowing Deadly and Advienne and making sure that they're okay. Because where Hatrixx is positioned, like he's just going to wave clear all day. And oh, hang on.
Well, we'll see if they can go for something here. Targamas has the Unbreakable Will available to him. Hasn't popped. Yes, he does have it popped, excuse me. Just pops it there, and there's the True Shot Barrage down across to get a little bit of extra damage, but you use a little bit of your utility here if you're on the side of BTXL. Flash forward, trying to get himself as much of an area as possible, but Cinkrof goes a little bit too far forward. Saken not quite here just yet. They weren't able to get the Lilting Lullaby off, and now Corp, maybe they look for the re-engage. They're looking to try and get the resets. It's going to be Deadly picking off xMatty. Thresh still alive, does eventually fall. Double kill going over to the Tristana, but with the TP here from Hatrixx, they're able to trade it back. BTXL coming to life in the spot lane.
This is so much better from BTXL. They are punishing Corp's overextensions over and over again. You get the overextension coming through from Cinkrof with the flash forward. Advienne had already wound up that hook. Hook, line, and sinker on towards the Lillia. They get the kill. And now you've got all this gold that's going back in towards BTXL. Deadly managing to get a kill for themselves. Hatrixx getting a kill as well. These are crucial picks that are going the way of BTXL.
Well, speaking of picks going to BTXL, we are going to see the TP going to use in the top side. It's going to be Saken trying to save his top lane, and Super Mega Death Rocket does not land. Saken trades a 1-for-1, but now the rest of the cavalry is here. Drowsy hits 2 kills for 1. Corp opportunistically finding himself an advantage in the top.
This time around, Corp are playing in tandem with Saken and having the first move advantage, so they're able to pick off the 2 members of BTXL so superbly. Now they turn towards Rift Herald. They already have that tower low for Saken, but they do have to deal with Deadly, who's got a nice little bit of a wave propped up for himself in mid lane here.
Well, a hook there from the Thresh does stop Targamas for going for any cheeky plays. Had his flash and ignite, so maybe could have gotten on top of Deadly, but no real follow-up CC or damage there would have made it a little bit more difficult. But you can see here, this is just Adam kind of assuming he has the advantage, and then, you know, BTXL thinking the exact same.
Yeah, they had the TP advantage, so they're like, right, we can actually go and make a play here, but Saken didn't commit quite as quickly as he needed to, and eventually, look, the rest of Corp were able to get here and turn this back around, but fortunately Adam going a little bit too far forward does end up costing. And now I think for Corp you need to kind of double down on the fact that you need to start playing around Saken. Because these dragons, yes, they're nice if you can get them, but you're not looking at a soul point for a long time in the future. And BTXL, they can just wait it out, right? They want to get towards 3 items in Deadly and Hatrixx, get a Rabadon's death cap for Hatrixx as well. Just be like, right, we don't actually need to fight this. Let's just get farm, get waves, and keep ourselves safe. But as I say, that looks like BTXL might actually want to try and fight over this 3rd dragon.
Yeah, they want to try and create a win condition, which is going to be that soul. 10 seconds until it spawns. Mid lane prio was garnered by BTXL, and you can see good wards here around the entrances, and very defensive as well. They haven't really got many deep wards available to them, so they haven't got great, thank you very much, observers. You can see there, they haven't got great ideas, but the nice little scuttlebug here is kind of giving the side of Corp a little bit of advantage, and now they know it's being started. Adam just walks up. Targamas has got flash. Dominus has been pushed in. They're all in a little bit of a clump here. The box goes down as they try and maybe make this fight work for them. They are going to get a massive knockup, and Targamas finds his mark. That is Deadly going down, and you can see there everyone's running. Oh no, the flash fail into the wall by Hatrixx. All but seals the deal here for Corp. They'll stop the stack, they'll get themselves an Infernal, and they will get themselves a nice 4,000 gold lead.
Oh, it's heartbreak galore for BTXL. That's what I was saying beforehand. No need to fight for this dragon. Like, Saken is huge. He's already got that 2nd item completed with the Lord Dominic's Regard. You're not going to be able to take this fight. And although BTXL tried to play this really smartly, like backing into where they can use the zone control that we talked about already with the gravity field and the chompers, but with the Inferno map, there's too many angles of attack. Cinkrof coming in on the flank. You already had the flash in from Adam, and it sets up beautifully for Targamas with the follow-up, enabling Saken to just beat, batter, and bruise BTXL back to the base.
Now you got an item lead in mid lane. You're going to get this Rift Herald. There's going to be a lot of advantages here, and this is the kind of acceleration that you can see when a Renekton is picked. And See, BTXL, the ones starting this one up, but I don't think K-Corp are going to let this one go without a fight. They're looking to try and get this one going again. They've got flashes on all of their carries. They are going to bait out the TP and maybe just give this one out. Yeah, they haven't got xMatty around. They don't really want to fight without 5 people, and they were just waiting for the Lilting Lullaby just to come back up.
So that is a bit of a win for BTXL. Like, I feel like the way that K-Corp accelerate this game is through using that Rift Tower to crack those inners. Then they can start to move Saken around the map, start to deny the vision in the jungle for BTXL. But actually getting that Rift Tower at least gets, well, almost some goal back in favor of BTXL. But denies that easy opportunity for K-Corp to shove in a wave and then group around the Herald. Now they'll have to do it the old-fashioned way, where you actually have Saken playing one side, Adam in the other, and try and find an opportunity where you can crack open one of these turrets or cause a man advantage in a side lane, and BTXL can't respond.
For K-Corp as well, you're getting the items. They've got the Randuins now for, you know, Adam, who's doing fantastically up on that side lane. They've got themselves the 2 items for xMatty. You know, he's going to be starting to ramp up very, very nicely. You know, the new Ezreal build, which you just kind of, you know, avoid a mythic until 3rd or 4th and just kind of keep going to what you kind of need. It just gives you a nice, pretty cheap power curve as well as to keep yourself relevant. And right now, K-Corp, they're the ones that are dictating the kind of, you know, pressure around this bot lane, the side lanes as well. They're just trying to see if they can catch anyone out, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for BTXL that they could be able to kind of come back from this. Like we mentioned, they have the scaling, they have a Jinx and a Viktor. They just need to be smarter about these engages, smarter about which fights they decide to go for.
Yeah, and BTXL, again, have been one of the strongest team fighting teams that we have, but not solo.
Yeah, that one was just a really good opportunistic kill. And now you can see BTXL, they're going to try and get the one of their own. They will get xMatty back, so it's carry for carry. Dominus was used. They did not use the Lilting Lullaby. Now's a little bit of a pinch. 4v4. Don't have the Dominus just yet, so Adam not as tanky, but they may have found out Orome. They jump straight on top of him, and they're trying to get him out with the Lantern. Nice use of the Dark Passage. Just keep him safe. And everyone does have to kind of back themselves away now from BTXL. Your carries and one of your tanks do not have the help bars to continue this.
Yeah, you can see that K-Corp are playing this map so smart though, right? We just said, hey, look, create these man advantages on a side lane, try and look for these picks. They already get one onto Hatrixx. Now, it is unfortunate that xMatty gets caught, means that K-Corp can't really capitalize on that in the manner that they were hoping for. But you can still see the ideas starting to come forward for K-Corp, and they're already getting the vision in on this top side. And when you've got a minute and a half until this next dragon, they'll start to look towards that now. But you can see here, Advienne, he's been on point with the hooks in this game. It's just that xMatty goes that little bit too far forward. Markoon goes in with the bear man and is able to pick off the Ezreal. No real escapes left in the tank apart from that flash, but he was a long way from home there.
Yeah, xMatty's got to be a little bit more careful. You can't really be arcane shifting in aggressively unless you know that all forms of CC are down. And that does bite him a little bit in the butt as we kind of come up to the 24 minutes into this game. It is still a 5,000 gold lead, a little bit above it for the side of Karmine Corp as they now posture for this next dragon in 45 seconds. Let's have a look through down all the summoners. You will have flash for Adam, so pretty much everything available for the side of K-Corp. Markoon may be finding something from there, and pretty much everything available for BTXL. So this could be a full 5v5, and most importantly to notice, you have got Azania's finished up here for xMatty, so xMatty will be able to keep him safe even if they do get on top of him.
Saken's on the top side though. They're looking to just trade this for the turret taking power that this Tristana offers. So there's tier 2 already gone. Saken now will back out of this and he's got away with it. He's managed to escape. You still got control over this dragon for K-Corp as well. And BTXL are being run around the map.
They're kind of been a bit run ragged, and this is kind of, you know, the kind of lack of vision, the lack of information that we talked about for the side of BTXL. And you can look at even just look at the wards here for the side of K-Corp. They've set themselves up. There's one pink ward which will be traded out very, very shortly, but there's just not enough vision here for the side of, you know, BTXL, whereas everything is pretty much set up perfectly for the side of K-Corp. They know exactly where everyone is. They knew that they weren't going for a quick take on that, and they get themselves the dragon. That's 2 Infernals now for this team. And now Orome might be caught out. He walked a bit too far forward. He flashes, but where are you going, son? Saken's taking you to the Shadow Realm, and that could mean Baron.
And you knew they were there. You just heard the dragon roar. There's no need to be in that bottom side jungle. Take the long way around. Take the scenic route. Stay safe. But now BTXL, they're caught again.
Yeah, they're gonna go straight into top side. You can see Saken was TPing in. They got the dominance, they got the knockup, they've got the damage. And that's gonna be Targamas taking down Hatrixx. See the swirl seed just keeping everyone away. Flash forward, trying to get himself sleepy time onto 2 members, but it is 2 of the most important members. Deadly does get himself out though. And they end up kind of turning away. They're going to go towards this Baron. This is probably where you're looking at as the side of BTXL. You kind of need to look for a steal here. You need to come back into this game. You can't let this one go over to the side of Corp.
Jinx rocket nearly up, still have that smite available, but Targamas playing keep away.
They're going for it. The smite is good for the side of Corp. You can see Targamas going down for the sins of his team. They will lose the Lillia as well. It's a trade for 2 for 1. It's now a 3v3. Teleport is available for Hatrixx in a couple of seconds. You can see BTXL, they want, so they flash forward. Not going to land the hook. Is going to force a flash, though, from the side of Saken. And the rest of Corp do get out with the Baron.
Yeah, 2 kills over in favor of the Baron, but you'd be pretty happy with that as Corp. I think that's the big way to try and close out this game right now, is just using this Baron with Adam playing down towards this bottom side of the map, the other 4 members of Corp just grouping mid and hard forcing this. Yes, you've got Deadly and Hatrixx who have some wave clear to offer, but it's really not enough against this Baroned up team, and you can see it here. This is Corp going a little bit low. Cinkrof already low from that initial engagement, and Targamas is just like, look, if I give my life here, we win this game. And he does. They end up getting the Baron, and it's a big win, but the chase down here with Deadly being able to finish off the kill and then getting excited to finish off more members. But overall, you're still Corp firmly in control of this game.
Very much so, but that ticking time bomb that is that Jinx Viktor is kind of slowly getting there. They're about half an item each away from really kind of getting to their big points. You can see there Lord Dominic's just around the corner here for Deadly, and Hatrixx moving himself up to his 3rd item as well. But how much do they lose here? They're 8,000 gold behind. And again, like you mentioned, this is kind of all Corp. It's kind of their game to lose right now as they just push in these towers. They've got so much tower taking ability and so much split push pressure when you've got the likes of, you know, the Tristana and the Renekton on your team.
And look, now you've got 2 minutes as well until this dragon, right? So you just keep up pressure alongside this Baron buff. You can fall back then as Corp towards dragon, or just get a reset off just before that happens. So you're in a really good spot to spend all that gold, get those further items completed, and just keep powering through the advantages that you have right now. As you say that though, Orome taking a good chunk of damage from xMatty here, who doesn't even have a mythic item yet, has opted in towards the last whisper instead of that Duskblade Drathkar for the 3rd item, but he's hurting and hitting like a truck.
Yeah, and speaking of hitting like a truck, you can see there Markoon taking an absolute beating there, and no real follow-up there. And this is the kind of pressure that you like to see here from Corp, just splitting the map, spreading BTXL thin, because they know that they're strong when they're together, but when they're separated like this, it becomes very difficult for them to hold their line.
Yeah, and this is just, again, great map control from Corp. We talked about it from the very start, where having 2 pushing lanes in mid and top, they're able to bully through that top lane with Saken moving up and reaping the benefits now of having this massively fed Tristana. They're able to take these turrets so effectively. They're able to move her around the map, having that teleport as well. And there's nothing that BTXL can do. Everywhere Tristana goes, there's either people dying or structures dying.
We got a bit of a moment, probably sort of 30 seconds, but for BTXL, you lose this, you go 0-2 in the group. Yeah, the gold is kind of insane. Thank you again, observers, for highlighting it. You can see there just 4,000 in the mid lane. You know, there's a little bit of a lead there for the Jinx, so silver linings and all that, but there's pretty much thousands or 2,000 gold, if not more, for every other lane available. And even in the support role, the Thresh versus the Alistar is a very rich cow, and it's a premium beef, if you will.
Of that gold lead. Like, that is insane.
Yeah.
50% of your team's gold lead right now is just nuts. But this is why we highlighted Saken. This is what we said. Saken has been so damn strong for this team. Playing with Cinkrof, linking up well with him. We didn't see Targamas working as much towards the mid lane as we were expecting, but still, you can see the results. This is how Corp play, with Saken being this man on a mission, roaming around the map and dictating the pace of the game.
Yeah, again, this is kind of why we highlighted him at the start of the day. This man in the mid lane has been, you know, the reason why K-Corp have been able to find those early advantages. And it's the exact same play 2 games in a row that we saw in the early game, as we might see Adam maybe step a little bit too far forward. They're going to commit the TP for this one as well. He flashes and stride breakers away. And should get knocked up here and bear slapped. He probably will fall down to this one, but what else can you gain here on the side of K-Corp? As I say that, he's actually getting himself out of it, and you've committed a hell of a lot of ultimates to try and make this play work. Oh no, it's a disaster. If they're able to get these health bars down, this could be perfect for K-Corp. It's a 4v5, and they're still coming out 100% on top. Look at the picture-in-picture. It's all on Hatrixx. Hatrixx has to be the man right now. It's a top and mid laner versus support and top. Can Hatrixx stay alive? No, he cannot. And now you do not have the damage. But we do not care about this fight anymore, because right now, look at Ezreal. He's the man in the middle of the Nexus taking these turrets. Orome, though, doing his damnedest to take as many people to the death as he possibly can just before he follows himself. That was a native 4v5, and K-Corp still come out on top and still take the game.
Calling an ambulance, but not for me, as K-Corp are able to turn around that play in the top side beautifully in the 4 versus 5, and xMatty is just waiting on the base the whole time. That was so sick from K-Corp.
The fact that entire play starts off with Adam being chased, and they're using everything. Ornn, the box, you know, like trying to get him with flashes, trying to keep him and lock him down to try and delay. You can see that was the call there, to try and delay, give them more time. And then everyone commits to it, and xMatty just goes, cheers, mate. You know, good to go, basically. I'm just going to end the game. And again, it shows just how damn good this team is. You know, K-Corp on fire, your entire team is terrified because they're just ripping through this team. BTXL never really got a look in.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's the speed of light, which is, you know, about here, and then there's the speed at which Twitch chat is going to be spamming Adam in the chat, because I know the LFL fans absolutely love this guy. And look, this is why, right? They play so smartly around these side lanes. Adam is able to bait that entire play in. They react so well, leaving xMatty just knowing, hey, look, we can play through this, but it does reek of just desperation for BTXL. They put all their eggs into that basket to make the pick. They knew that they were bleeding out, but there was just nothing that they could do. And again, I can understand where BTXL were coming from, right? This is a team that likes these late game team fights. They like to try and put their foot down when it comes to these later objectives, but when you start to fight for objectives before your team has really come online, when you're able to allow Saken to roam this early around the map, we're seeing very similar issues with what we saw in their game against Schalke Evolution, where this early game starts to snowball away from them. They're not able to keep up with map pressure. They're getting caught out. The picks are happening. And from there, their whole game plan is falling apart.
Yeah, well, we're going to break it down a little bit more once we come back from the break. We'll talk about how this game went in favor of K-Corp.
Nothing comes easy. I've learned that the hard way. I've had those bad days. Yeah, I've had those bad days. And they say, never gonna make it that far. You don't even know who you are. You'll never go all the way. Who do you think that you are? But I know. I'ma be that one in a million. I'll be that one in a million. And gotta start till I'm at the top. I'll be that
Okay, Fulcha, everybody, welcome back again to the Irish takeover of EU Masters in day 2. We are, of course, coming off of the back of Corp, kind of just smacking down BTXL, and BTXL really not able to get anything going for it. We wanted to talk, I know you wanted to talk a little bit more, but it's just the draft, you just didn't really work out for them, and Corp took advantage of every single small little mistake they made.
Yeah, I mean, look, you've got late game scaling across the board here coming through for BTXL, and it just meant that they were able to play so effectively through this top side of the map because you've got a winning mid, you've got a winning top, and already you could see Saken and Cinkrof linking up so well, punishing Orome, very similar to what happened yesterday. And from that point forward, Saken was a monster. Saken just took over this game on the Tristana. Corp played so well around the turret-taking potential of this Tristana in the side lane. They played around that third dragon fight. That's just incredibly well here as well, which you're going to see in your screens. Like, this was impeccable from Corp. They just understood, hey, look, this is when we need to fight. This is how we snowball this game. And even though it wasn't playing through these early dragons like I kind of expected them to, or at least trying to use that objective to find fights, they were still able to find picks and find the fights that they needed to succeed in this game.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a pretty devastating start for the side of BTXL. We don't like to be too negative on certain teams, but like, you look at some of these names, Hatrixx, Orome, Deadly, like these guys have been kind of around the top of the game for quite a while. These are people you expect to kind of come in and really kind of show off their mettle, but it just hasn't come together. But on the opposite side of that, like, I'm looking at Adam, I'm looking at Targamas, I'm looking at, as we've just mentioned, Saken. These guys are really showing up this time round, and I can't stress how important this tournament, EU Masters as a whole, is for these players, because well run, this is how you prove to everyone in the LEC and beyond why you should be the next round of people to come up through the ranks.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, this was Corp just putting their foot down, saying, look, we are the better team. We understand how to play this map better. We understand how to use our lane priority better. And when it came to rotations and being able to move through like zones of safety or creating zones of pressure that BTXL had to respond to, Corp did that better as well. So I was thoroughly impressed with the LFL team, as I was yesterday as well. And it really does feel like they're going to be the ones that are coming out in top spot in Group D. They just look so damn strong right now.
Yep, again, you're very, very happy if you're an LFL fan. You've come in with hype, and that hype has been rewarded with pretty decent results. So it's definitely a very good time to be an LFL fan right now. The memes are fantastic, and then probably people wondering, why aren't the NLC guys casting some of the NLC games? Guys, we're trying to help them out, like, you can't put them on this kind of a game. It would just destroy them, demoralize them. Yeah, we can't have that for the broadcast. Just not on. That's why we came in. We're doing our bros in the NLC a favor to cover them and save them from the shame and the disappointment that they have relived year upon year. But I'm obviously memeing. It's a tough time to be an NLC fan as they come in. But for an LFL fan, you're stonks right now. You're cashing in pretty hard.
Yeah, I think you definitely are. You're going to be super happy with the way that this has all gone. You're going to be happy with the way the team performing. I think as well, like, the individual skill on these guys is really starting to shine through as well, right? I mean, when you look at Adam, he's going up against Orome, ex-LEC. He's having a perfectly fine time and is able to set up these plays coming through for his team. And obviously, when you have Saken, who isn't himself ex-LEC, used to play for Vitality. Targamas is there, used to play for Giants. Like, these guys are absolute beasts. Like, they know so well how to play the game. And I'm delighted to see that the LFL is living up to the hopes, because always coming into EU Masters, the LFL is touted as one of the best regions alongside that DOC region.
Yeah, well, speaking of the DOC region, they will be up next as they have got Schalke Evolution coming up against Real Betis, and we'll be back after a very short break.